Now, when was the last time you felt really alive? I mean, really alive. Well, for my next guest, it was the moment that he was told he had 6 months left to live. But rather than sit around and feel desolate, he decided to live in the moment and make the most of the time he had left. This enthusiasm has seen him play a series of farewell gigs around the world, put together a new album and make an appearance on the TV show Game of Thrones. He's the guitarist and founding member of the 1970s British R&B group Dr Feelgood. Wilko Johnson is here with us now. But before we chat, would you play a little bit?
I certainly would, yeah.
So good. Before I speak to Wilko, I should say that my teenage years were spent in North London, where I'd go to a pub called the Torrington in North Finchley and a club called the Marquee in Soho, where I simply saw you play, I don't know, a dozen times probably, and there was another band, Eddie and the Hot Rods, also from Essex, that were also rather popular. But you were the leaders in this kind of style of music, weren't you?
I do believe that's fair to say, yeah. Canvey Island boys.
The Canvey Island boys from Essex. Now, so, you know, you were a great band in the 1970s. And then I heard on the radio that Wilko Johnson had been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. I mean, that moment, did your head go into kind of a free fall, or did you know immediately that, right, I've got this time left, I'm going to live every moment to its full?
This moment happened actually right at the beginning of this year, January. I'd gone in, the doctor was looking at, the doctor was drawing diagrams with a biro and looked up and told me that I'd got cancer. I mean, one often imagines what one would feel if on being told this, and it wasn't like anything I'd imagined. In fact, I felt absolutely calm. It was as if he was telling me something I'd known all my life, and when I walked out of the hospital and saw the blue sky and the trees, and suddenly I realised I was alive, and I had the most, I don't know, it's almost an ecstatic feeling. And I thought initially this was I don't know, shock reaction or something. Shouldn't I be miserable? Shouldn't I be? But no, I felt this aliveness. I was alive.
Wilko, has that stayed? I mean, I can understand that maybe you'd feel that for a few days and then go into a trough of despair. Yeah. But it seems to have carried on.
Well, it has, yeah. Strangely for me, I thought it was maybe a shock reaction because I am a miserable so-and-so and prone to moping and everything. But in fact, this high, this kind of just tingling awareness of being alive remained with me for some months before my
when I was reading out that intro and I said, you know, terminal cancer, has been told he's got 6 months to live, does it make your stomach turn over and think, oh God, no, this is all, or do you know, you've just, this is it, it's in front of me and I'm going to face it?
No, I immediately accepted it. They told me that the condition was terminal. At the time, and still actually, I felt perfectly healthy. This cancer, although it's quite prominent inside here, it's not actually manifesting itself in any symptoms yet. It will do soon, I believe. And I just determined to make the most of that. I thought, here I am, I'm alive. I feel good. And
do you feel you're engaged in a battle with it? There was a guy I knew very well who was involved in politics, who was a Labour's campaigning guy, and he kind of thought, right, I've got a campaign now and it's against the cancer that's in my body and I'm going to fight it as best I can. Are you like that, or do you just kind of...
No. I accepted what the doctor told me, that you know, my life will end later this year probably, I refused to have any therapy, any chemotherapy or anything. I mean, they told me they cannot cure it. They can't stop it. All they could do was maybe slow it down. But I understand chemotherapy just makes you very, very ill. And I thought, well, I feel fine. So I'm just I'm living with it.
Have you had fun these past few months? I mean, you know,
it's been one of the most extraordinary years of my life. The first thing I did on receiving the diagnosis was I went to for a couple of weeks to Japan, which is a place I love very much. Work there quite often, and I went and spent a couple of weeks in Kyoto and visiting all the beautiful. If you want to find tranquility, you know, this Kyoto is a very good place to go, and the temples and it's just wonderful there. And it was while I was there I realised that I remember standing in the most beautiful surroundings up in the mountains at this temple, looking out at and snow was coming down, fine snow was coming down, and the sun was shining through the trees, and the snow was golden. And I was thinking, well, normally I would be looking at a scene like this and thinking, wow, I must impress this memory on my mind so I can recollect it in future times. But of course, there will be no future times for me, and I realise what I've got to do is just experience this now, the moment that I'm living in, and I've carried on like that. I think just every day now is a gift, you know. And coming back from Japan, decided to stage a farewell tour of the UK. Did that, was very good, and then this was in April. Then at the end of that tour, which there will be a DVD of this tour available later in the summer, apparently.
Okay. Well, we're virtually out of time. I wondered whether you were going to play me out there.
I'll play you out. Shall I? Yeah.
The great Wilko Johnson. First time I've heard him play, I think, since 1975. What a thrill to have you in the studio, and what a wonderful story, and thank you so much for being with us.